What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Getting Technical, episode 67. Here with Burke.
Blue collar getting technical.
We got blue collar Blaze in the building. Over there, getting a little sanding done.
Blaze needs this hat, actually, this Miller Lite hat.
All right. I have no idea what week we just watched of the NFL season, but it was an interesting week.
It was a good week. There was a lot of good games this week.
There was, except for the 49ers. That game was just an absolute joke. But,
Brandon Allen was playing, so that's
a team that should have kept Sam Darnold. That's a team that should have kept Sammy Davis.
I don't know about all that. Now in hindsight 2020, yes, they should have, but Sam went to a spot where he was technically competing for a job,
and he wasn't against Brock.
No, not at all. Game of the week, Chiefs Panthers. Shout out Bryce Young.
Bro, Bryce Young looks good.
That's why. I guess we can make that topic number one. Him, and I said this to somebody else, like Will Levis also. Bryce Young is obviously playing a little bit better, but Will Levis is also kind of taking a step up. But Bryce Young looks really good these last few weeks.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes to show, like we always talk about, it's like he had a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
They took him out.
Yeah.
He sat. He watched. He learned.
He watched.
And now he's looking like a good quarterback. But they've got some guys now that they're not that bad. I like Chuba.
Thielen being back gives him another target. Besides,
really nice. They traded Johnson.
Johnson's done nothing.
No, even Deontay Johnson. Yeah.
No, even when he was on Baltimore,
he had like 3 good weeks in Carolina when they took him out. They started Dalton, right? That's who they started with?
Yeah, but it's weird, though, because they looked like a college football team with him starting the first few weeks, and then Dalton takes over, and then they're putting up 30-point games. So it was clearly something with him where he just wasn't, making the right reads. He wasn't, going through his progressions. Maybe he was a little quick to, start running the ball. I don't watch much Carolina Panther football. I don't think many people. I don't think many people do. So that's something for people who really dive into tape, really kind of get into. But it's nice to see that he's actually kind of got some glimmer of hope to actually pan out to be that number one. Because I'll tell you what, his number two, who everybody's sitting there thinking that C.J. Stroud was him, he's having a sophomore slump.
Dude, C.J. Stroud he's just looked bad all year.
Yeah, and it's like, look, I get it. Like Collins was down for a little bit. Diggs is down. But even when all of those guys were healthy, he still really hasn't, shined like he was last year.
Yeah, but it's like last year they didn't really have a run game. They brought in Joe Mixon, who's been like incredible.
Yeah,
and then it's just like C.J. Stroud, he's just been kind of underwhelming. Like when you still have Tank Dell, you still have Dalton Schultz, you still have Joe Mixon playing.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Collins is back.
Yeah,
Nico Collins is back. Doesn't matter. They lost. Like Nico Collins is the best receiver on that team.
Yeah,
he's their best offensive weapon.
Don't get me wrong.
That guy's just an animal.
Like once again, that's another team. Obviously, I really haven't watched too much, but I was at that Jet game and he looked really bad. He looked shook. The Jets got to him 7-8 times. When that's happening, how can you be successful? Because if you're getting sacked 7 times in a game, the first thing you're gonna start thinking is, if my first read is in there, I got to either check it down or I got to leave this pocket. So that it just immediately becomes just one factor for him to just immediately think of. It's just like, if I don't get my first read, I got to immediately do something, and then he starts, maybe starting to panic a little bit that he's just, starting to press a little bit too hard. I don't know, but
yeah, I would say, we talked last week about like most disappointing teams, and at this point, I think the Texans have to be in the mix for that. We didn't talk about the Texans last week.
But another loss this week kind of brings them right into that mix. And it was, the 49ers can probably get punted out of that conversation because, losing this week obviously sucks, but losing when you don't have Brock Purdy is it disappointing as a fan? Yeah, but like looking at it as like a whole spectrum. Losing these games when you've had no McCaffrey, now no Purdy, it's not I wouldn't say it's a disappointing season as like somebody like just watching the NFL. As a fan, I would be, because you weren't in the Super Bowl last year, but sitting there being like they're more disappointing than like the Houston Texans or the New York Jets or the Cincinnati Bengals. I wouldn't put them above those guys.
Yeah, the things with the Texans is they have a few good wins. They beat the Bills. One of the Bills' only 2 losses. Mm-hmm. Actually, never mind. That is their only good win. I lied. I thought I saw another one here.
What's their overall record? Are they 5-6?
Standings. No, they have a winning record.
They have a winning record?
I believe so. They're 7-5.
Oh, so then no, I wouldn't put
them in the AFC
division.
South. So really, 7-5 isn't that.
Yeah, but have they played their division both times? I mean, they could just have a hard schedule. Do they have a hard schedule? You're looking right at it.
They beat the Bears. They
Okay.
lost to the Vikings. They beat the Jags. They beat the Bills. They beat the Patriots. They lost to the Packers. Beat the Colts. Lost to the Jets. Lost to the Lions. Beat the Cowboys. And they lost to the Texans. I wouldn't say they've had a hard.
I mean, but like, besides the Jets beating the teams that they're supposed to beat and losing to teams that you could say are better teams than them. Yeah. Except for outside of Buffalo. I mean, like you said, they lost to the Lions, lost to the Vikings.
I just think losing to the Titans is, to me, if you're a team that thinks you have a legitimate chance at contending for a Super Bowl right now, and you go out and lose to the Titans, in the way they lost too, like they should have won this game.
Yeah, like I said,
they missed the field goal to tie.
Like Will Levis has started to look really good, and it's. I mean, there are some things though, because there were 2 long bomb touchdowns. I can't even say long bomb. I think that Okanowo, I don't know, Aquano, I don't know how you say his name, but the second one was like a 70 or 80 yard touchdown. There was one to Ilkeen Westbrook, however you say his name. Yeah. That was like a 70 yard. That was a deep throw, but then there was one to Okanowo. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to say his name.
You're talking about Okongwu? Chiggy?
Okongwu?
You're talking about on the tight end? Yeah, Chiggy. Just call him Chiggy.
Okay, Chiggy. That was like a 30-yard pass that he just broke for like 60 more yards. Or not 60, but like he broke it for like another 40. And then I don't even think it was a 30-yard pass. I think it was like a 15-yard pass that he ended up being like a 70-yard touchdown. Yeah, there were 2 big defensive miscues that like could have obviously won them the game.
Yeah, I just think at this point, like we kind of crowned C.J. Stroud a little too early. And I think if you're looking at it as a young quarterback, sure, sophomore slump, whatever it is, but he's consistently not really looked that good this year. And there are many other guys, like people are calling him a fringe top 5 quarterback last year.
I mean, he looked like a fringe top 5 quarterback last year. And then adding Stephon Diggs to the mix, adding Joe Mixon to the mix, you thought that this would have been sky's the limit season.
Yeah. But now, I mean, if I give you a few guys and we could just do a quick would you rather, it's like, if we're doing a C.J. Stroud would you rather, let's start off with Matthew Stafford. C.J. Stroud or Matthew Stafford this year. I would take Stafford. Jared Goff. C.J. Stroud or Jared Goff?
All right, come on. That's an obvious one. Jared Goff is leading a 9.
Last year, going into the year, I don't think people would have said.
I understand, but like
Jared Goff is better than C.J. Stroud.
But like we're talking, you got to talk me some fringe guys for this year. You know, like would you rather like a Sam Darnold, a Bo Nix? Would you rather
going into the season? I'm talking about like right now. If you wanted them for this season,
that's what I'm saying.
I think people would have argued.
Oh, are you saying going into this year?
No. I'm saying going into the season.
Like if I could flip flop them right now.
No. I'm saying going into this season, if you had asked people to rank the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL,
he would have been
most people would have had C.J. Stroud above Jared Goff. I think so.
Yeah, probably.
But now it's clearly obvious that Jared Goff is better than C.J. Stroud.
Right. I mean, like you said, it's this was before the season. Like last year he had a phenomenal season, Rookie of the Year. They added pieces to that offense. They added good pieces. They didn't just add like middle of the pack guys. Like Stephon Diggs is a number 1 on most teams in the NFL. Joe Mixon is a very good running back. I mean, Cincinnati just has a terrible offensive line, and it's just like I said, the sky was supposed to be the limit for him this year, and he is. I don't know if they're figuring him out scheme-wise, if they found something, if some coordinators just found something in his game that they're able to kind of pick apart. He's just not getting it done this year. Just not effective as. Yeah.
No, I mean let's just do it. I'll go from the bottom. If we're doing a, Jesus Christ, who are we talking about? We're talking about C.J. Stroud. If we're doing a C.J. Stroud, would you rather C.J. Stroud or Tua?
Like right now?
Yeah, right now.
Tua.
I think I would go Tua as well.
Tua.
C.J. Stroud or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love
with these. C.J. Stroud or Kyler Murray?
C.J. Stroud.
It's so close. I would lean C.J. for what he did last year, but if we're going off this year, I think Kyler Murray's been better. C.J. Stroud or Jalen Hurts? I'm taking Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, without a doubt.
C.J. Stroud or Justin Herbert?
Not even close.
Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud or Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy.
I think I would take CJ Stroud.
Nah, healthy Brock Purdy. He is. Even last year,
It's very close.
Even last year, I would have taken a healthy Brock Purdy over CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think it's close. CJ Stroud or Baker Mayfield?
Baker. Right now, Baker.
I would 100% take Baker right now too. And then realistically, the other guys who there's the Sam Darnolds, there's Jaden Daniels. He's a rookie. Bo Nix, they're rookies.
But I mean, even Jaden, I don't know.
Jaden
Daniels, as of late, that guy is losing his grip on that Rookie of the Year, and Bo Nix is just looking better and better too.
I think it's just Bo Nix's award right now.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Daniels has been amazing, but I think if you look at what Bo Nix has done recently, and obviously,
and he's just looking better. And
Jaden had that great throw to Terry, play it with Terry. They just missed the extra point to go into overtime. But Bo Nix is just winning football games. And obviously, Jaden's done the same thing. But unfortunately, awards are kind of a little bit of a
it is. But it's also like as the season's progressing, Bo Nix is looking more and more comfortable, and Jaden is actually now kind of getting some mid-season struggles. Like I think it's once again our defensive coordinators starting to pick up on him. There was talks about him being a little banged up. It's one or the other. It could be both. I mean, who knows? I mean, like I said, there's really not that many weapons on his team either outside of Terry, and Robinson's been a little banged up. So I mean, they could just be finding some weak spots in his game, and Bo Nix may just really not have the weak spots. And some guys are starting to come out of the woodwork. That guy Franklin, Veli, like he's starting to get some guys outside of Sutton that he has people to throw to.
But it is crazy when you go and you just look at all these rosters, and obviously, Sean Payton, an all-time coach. Like the guy's he knows how to win football games. He knows how to run an offense. You look at Cortland Sutton, obviously having an amazing season. Like that is his only really proven weapon.
Yeah.
Like you've got guys like Javonte Williams in the backfield, Jaleel McLaughlin, he's pretty good. But if you go and look at the rest of that offense, Lil Jordan Humphrey, that's his number 2 target.
It's rookies that are also they're just running out there with Bo Nix. So it's fun to see.
He's making it work.
It's fun to see a young core. So we're talking Rookie of the Year, but I
want to talk Saquon.
A little MVP.
I think, bro. I was thinking about this.
Oh my god!
I think right now
MVP.
Saquon has to be the MVP right now.
Yes,
100%.
Absolutely. I think, and obviously, Josh Allen and Lamar can start going off these next few weeks. But I mean, that team is 7-2 or whatever they are, or 8-2, 9-2.
They might be 9-2, bro.
9-2 because of Saquon.
Yes.
300 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's ridiculous.
What the fuck, man?
Bro, let me find this. So Saquon Barkley's 17-game pace right now is 2,151 rushing yards, 2,548 total yards, and 19 touchdowns. The single-season rushing record is Eric Dickerson, 2,105. The single-season total yards record, Chris Johnson, 2,509. So he's on pace to break the single-season rushing record. He's on pace to break the total yards record. And he's on pace. Actually, I don't know if he's on pace to break the touchdown record, but he's having one of the best running back seasons in history.
The touchdown record for a skill player is almost 30. I think Sean Alexander had 27 or 28.
The thing that's crazy is though, last year a lot of people thought that Christian McCaffrey was the most valuable player, and I thought he should. We both talked about it on this podcast. We thought he should have been the MVP. Yeah. Obviously, they gave it to Lamar. He had a great season, but. For some reason, the NFL just if you're the best player in the league, playing like the best player in the league. Last year it was Christian McCaffrey. This year it's Saquon. They just put Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, that's like the non-QB MVP award.
At this point, it just doesn't make any sense because the Eagles they don't have much of a different offense as they did last year. The one thing they added was Saquon Barkley, and they went from starting off hot. They looked absolutely miserable to end the season. And now they're 9-2.
Yeah, it's funny because the season was opposite, where they started off kind of slow, and now Saquon has just been going off, and they're on a huge win streak, and Saquon is just playing massive game after massive game, and it's got to be a punch to the gut for Giants fans being like, why didn't we fucking pay this guy? And you could still argue, I saw one thing where one guy was like. Saquon Barkley right now is 1,300 yards. The Giants as a team have 1,200. But like to me, the argument there is like you're arguing 3 guys between Tracy, Singletary, and Daniel Jones, who's a running QB, still have less yards than one player. Like if you had Saquon and Tracy this year, like that'd be a really good complementary like offense.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, like him in the passing game, like I mean, it just does wonders for an offense.
Yeah,
wonders.
The thing is that's crazy too, though, is he I was looking up the stats today. He already has more rushing yards than he's ever had in a season in 11 games this year. He never has had this many yards. We're in week 11. He's never had this many yards in a season as a Giant.
I mean, I was looking at his stats this morning, and I mean, a big thing is hats off to that O-line. Because
you saw his tweet too?
Dude, he has 950 yards before contact.
That's insane. Before
contact, he averages over 4 yards before contact. That offensive line is doing fucking phenomenal. I'm not trying to take anything away from him because
I mean, at the end of the, you need the offensive line.
He still has about 600 yards after contact, so he's still doing his thing. Like once he reaches that second, third level, he's still making guys miss, still breaking tackles. But I mean, when you can get 4 yards before you even get touched, I mean that offensive line is insane. And
they lost Kelsey. You'd think they would have taken a step back.
But that was the argument I'm having with Olberding. I was like, dude, like this offensive line is clearly not missing a beat because, yeah, like Kelsey's a Hall of Famer, but whoever stepped in, I don't know who he is, but I mean, if you're averaging 4 yards before contact, I mean, you're getting pushed off the line.
100%.
Yeah. So it's like,
I think it's like, it's just a match made in heaven because like they have the offensive like. Jalen Hurts, I don't think he's like one of the elite quarterbacks, but I think he's a really good quarterback. Yeah. I think he's a good leader. And then you have got A.J. Brown, who just one of the best receivers in football when he can stay on the field.
And Devonta Smith is a low-key, top 20 receiver in the league.
And he didn't even play yesterday. He didn't.
No, he didn't play.
He didn't play. He did not play. Whenever it was.
No, it was 2 nights ago.
Dude, 255 yards. And then he had 302, I think.
He had 302 total yards, so 52, whatever, 50 receiving yards.
I think it's like the 9th most yards ever in a game for a position player.
I mean, it was an Eagles record for most scrimmage yards.
And the week before, he ran for like 150 or something.
Setting records for a team like the Eagles that have been around and have had a lot of success in their franchise and a lot of good running backs in their franchise. I mean, setting like single game records like that, it just bodes that Saquon is just on a different level right now. And right now, like if you ended the season today, he should be MVP.
100%. Yeah, it's just I don't even think you can really debate it at this point because
I mean, like we said though, it'll probably end up being either Lamar or Josh Allen, and he'll be the offensive player of the year because the NFL is just stupid. It's like, dude. Enough with the QBs winning the MVP. Give it to a guy who is taking a team and just putting them on their back and just being like,
he's taking them to another level. Let's roll. Because of what Saquon's doing, I don't see how you can not have the Eagles in the Super Bowl conversation.
The Eagles started off 2-2, and like I have a few guys that I know from Philly that I used to play ball with that they're avid on Twitter, and they were talking about like get rid of Sirianni. Jalen Hurts looks like shit. This, that, the other thing. Now it's Sirianni's a genius. Saquon's a god. Jalen Hurts is getting it done. It's just, I mean, Saquon is doing absolute fucking magic on the field. It's
crazy.
Unbelievable.
And it's just like, this is what Saquon is when he has like a great offensive line in front of him.
Right.
Because the reason why he's never had this many yards before is because the Giants always had a terrible offensive line.
Right. I mean, everybody knew how special a player he was, but I mean, seeing how he's playing now, like I said, it's got to be a punch to the gut for Giant fans because you could have had this, and you could have had it for decently cheap. The first time before they franchise tagged him, you could have had him for a good price. Yeah. Now, granted, you gave that money to a man who's no longer on the team. Who
you made play safety on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Him reading off that thing, like I actually just felt bad for the guy.
I mean, listen.
It was so ridiculous. Bro.
It's just...
it's a clown show over there.
Yeah. I mean...
It is a straight up clown show.
I hope the Giants wisen up, especially after this past week, because watching Tommy Cutlets just get destroyed And then
by a bad defense. The Bucks do not have a good defense.
No, they have been
they
bad.
have a mediocre defense at best.
Vita Vea was just living. He was 3 yards into the backfield within half a second.
It's so
every play, it was a snap, bang, he's in the backfield.
And the thing is, like I think we talked about it last week. We definitely talked about it off camera, but like not letting Drew Lock, you signed him to be your backup quarterback. He was the number 2 all year.
What a scum move.
And then the guy has incentives in his contract, right? I'm pretty sure his incentives as the backup would not play. And you go for Tommy Cutlets, just, it's because you want to have the little people. You saw what Baker did, bro, right?
Yeah.
It's because they wanted to, get all the Italian fans excited. Bro. It's a clown show move,
that is like for an organization who like kind of prides itself on being like a very well respected, like classy organization. Yeah. That is such a scum fucking move to sit there and deny this guy a chance at going to get more money and playing a guy who is not good. He's not better than Drew Lock. He's not Drew Lock in the same world as Drew Lock is not a good quarterback, and Tommy DeVito he's
not a borderline. He shouldn't even probably not be on an NFL.
He is a practice squad fucking player. Listen, it was a fun ride last year. He won a few games.
Yeah, good for him.
So did Tyson Bagent, won a few games. There have been plenty of guys to win a few games. Mike White won a few games. I have seen guys who are not good NFL quarterbacks win games. It happens because teams don't know how to play against them. There's no game film on them, so they go out there and they give a little shock and they get a few W's. Tommy DeVito should not be playing over Drew Lock. It is actually like if I'm Drew Lock, I would be. I'm sure he is, but like I would be vocally upset.
Yeah, I mean he definitely didn't seem happy, and I saw a few interviews with him. But
class act on his part for not saying "fuck you guys."
Yeah, but the thing is, the worst part about it is if you're the Giants, right, and you're looking to bring in a good backup because you need to have a good backup quarterback in the league. The Jets have Tyrod Taylor, obviously it didn't work out, but you want a guy like Tyrod Taylor. Drew Lock is a good backup option. They're not going to come to your team now. Like, oh, am I actually going to be able to play? Like, this is their livelihood.
Right.
Am I going to be able to play, or is a fucking clown show fucking that's going to take my spot?
It's also, you're giving me a contract that's full of incentives. Well, when it's my time to actually try and go earn those incentives, are you going to screw me over like you did Drew Lock?
Yeah. It's just like, and nothing against, Tommy DeVito, He played well last year,
There's a lot
he deserved to be the third string quarterback, but he's the third string quarterback for a reason.
Right. The Giants made him the third string quarterback this year. They didn't
doesn't make any sense. It's not like he was like this guy who they'd never seen. They're like, you know what? Like we kind of know what Drew Lock is. Like let's just give this rookie a chance. No, you know what Tommy DeVito is.
You know what you're getting, bro. Like
they were able to have. I saw a TikTok of like his agent walking around on the field.
God,
He's got the hat on.
Like you want to talk about like adding to the clown show, like getting all these fucking Goombas on the field, like adding to this nonsense. Like it is a clown show over there. Like I thought the Jets were like a bad fucking. Bro, I got Donnie over here looking at me like I'm an idiot.
We shouldn't be talking about clown.
But dude, you're running out Tommy DeVito for the pure fact that you
call him Tommy Cutlets.
You call him Tommy Cutlets. There's no other reason to be.
He played very well last year. It's fun.
He really did not play that well last year. He played
better than Aaron Rodgers, probably.
He has not. He has not played better than Aaron Rodgers.
Honestly, you might want to pull up stats for that.
I'll pull up the stats right now.
I mean, Donnie's right. He played better than
Aaron Rodgers last year.
He didn't play.
Aaron Rodgers did not play.
Not like Aaron Rodgers playing that great though.
What is
the worst career of Aaron Rodgers' career is still miles better than
better than Tommy DeVito. What did DeVito do last year? God, now I gotta look at it.
The Jets played Tommy DeVito in the rain,
and they wouldn't let him throw the ball.
Saquon ran the ball 45 times.
They wouldn't let him throw the ball.
And the Jets still almost lost the game.
I know, bro. In 9 games, he threw 8 touchdowns with 3 interceptions.
How many yards?
1,000 yards.
Yeah, in 9 games.
Yeah, in 9 games.
So he's on pace for 1,800 yards.
In 9 games, he went like this. Check down. Thank God Saquon Barkley was there to run the ball 58 times.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Tommy Cutlets. I didn't even see that you wrote Tommy Cutlets waste of time. It's so true.
It is a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and it's a shot in the face to your season ticket holders who who are paying good money to go out there and hope to see a fucking win, and you're throwing out the QB that you know is going to lose you games.
Well, I think the real insult is like obviously to the fans, whatever, but the real insult is the guys who are actually on the field, like
Right. I mean, look
risking
at
like their
but like even
with Tommy Cutlets.
I mean,
bro.
even look at Neighbors, where he's like, it's clearly not the quarterback. I was like, but yesterday it clearly was the quarterback. Like your guy was just standing there and just taking a beating.
Yeah, I mean, at least if you're running out Daniel Jones, like he's a professional quarterback. Like he belongs in the NFL.
Yes.
Tommy DeVito just doesn't belong in the NFL.
Drew Lock belongs in the NFL. Like I get it, the pressure was really bad and the offensive line was really bad, but Drew Lock is not looking as bad, and neither is Daniel Jones.
Cutlets. But with that, bro, I think
Getting into the clown show that is New York media, though.
yeah, no, the clown show of New York sports. I mean,
Dude,
the rumors of Aaron Rodgers potentially wanting to play in 2025 but not with the Jets is just brutal. It's rock bottom.
No, they're
you
false.
thought you couldn't get any lower.
But no, they're all false.
Did he say they're false?
He came out today and was just like, that's not true. He said, my number one option is to come play for the New York Jets next year. So it's
Well,
like...
he said on McAfee?
Yeah.
Oh, he was on McAfee?
I don't know if it was on McAfee, but I got the update saying that it was just like, oh, Rodgers' number one option for 2025 is the New York Jets. So it's like, but like that's bad. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the clown show it was Diana Rossini. Just let me just throw out a tweet just to try and gain some attention. Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Jets next year. Next day, Rodgers, I never said this. Not true.
I don't know what to believe when it comes to New York sports anymore.
I mean,
at least the football.
Do I believe that Woody Johnson might not want him back? Sure, but like Aaron Rodgers, I think has sunk his teeth into trying winning for the Jets. Granted, it's not working, but I think he has sunk his teeth into this team, and he's like, "Fuck it, like I'm here till I die," and he's gonna die with this team.
He's got no choice.
He's gonna die.
He's put all of his chips into the middle of the table.
I also think the Jets don't really have much of a choice because the money that will be wasted on a guy not on your team, I think, really outweighs trying to see if maybe he can get it together 2 years after an Achilles tear. I think that might actually be beneficial for him, is that getting that second year, like we talked about it, a first year after a major injury like that is always a tough ride, like getting back into the swing of things. So maybe the second year will be a little bit better. And if he really does suck, then it's Jordan Travis time.
I think the Jets have no choice but to bring Aaron Rodgers back, and I think Aaron Rodgers has no choice but to really come back to the Jets because
I don't think there's any like it's Jets or retire.
The Jets are going to have a new head coach. They're going to have a new GM.
Yes.
You keep Aaron Rodgers. If you like a quarterback, you draft a quarterback in this draft.
Right.
You let him and Jordan Travis sit behind Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Hopefully they can learn something, and then hopefully Aaron Rodgers is good. Because they're still going to have a lot of talent on the team next year, and if Aaron Rodgers is good, they're going to be a good team.
Crazy enough is that Aaron Rodgers is still having statistically, like if you don't look at the games, you just look at the statistics, is still having a pretty solid statistic year.
And one of the best. He's going to have this season, which is going to be one of the worst seasons.
He's still on pace for 25 plus touchdowns, like 3,500 yards. He's still going to have like a statistically good season, but they just come out too slow out of the gate. By the time they start scoring, it's too late in the game. The defense is not where it was. Like they need to just be scoring more and more effectively, and they're just not.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to have one of the worst seasons of his career, regardless of how this plays out. He's still going to have one of the best Jets quarterback seasons in the history of their
It's going to be a top 3 Jets quarterback season. Absolutely.
Is the best quarterback season by a Jet statistically Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, Fitzmagic. Yeah, 30. The Jets have never.
I think he had like.
I think he's the only 30 touchdown thrower in a season. I think he's the only one.
It's just so dark. So dark rooting for this team.
It really is. But I mean, look, I think they bring it. I think you got to bring him back next year. And I think I don't know where he's going to find this fire that he just really doesn't seem to have. But he needs to find this energy and some fire to really fucking light under a 42-year-old's ass. I don't know how he's going to do it. Maybe he needs another little ashwagandha trip or whatever the fuck it was, ayahuasca. And he needs to find it because he's playing like he just is just kind of going through the motions, and you can see it like his throws that are easy throws. He's missing some of these easy throws.
He's just been awful.
I know. It's just, but like I said, it's still for a team as bad as the Jets. It's still going to be a lot better than anything we've seen since like the Chad Pennington days.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, like Mark Sanchez, like we got the 2 AFC champions. He was not a good quarterback. No. He was not a good thrower.
No, like he was also was he a rookie when they went to the AFC Championship game?
Yeah, it was
his first 2 years.
His first 2 years, but like I mean, dude, like he did not have a very successful career. Like he was a product of the fact that they had really good rushing offense and some of the best defenses ever assembled. Yeah,
the Jets' best hope right now might just be bring Rex Ryan back and run it back.
Honestly, if there's a guy to bring the fire to the table, it's Rex Ryan. I think it's Rex Ryan.
What other choice do you have? I don't see any top guys coming here.
Eric Mangini as the GM. as the GM.
Dude, he
was a talent finder, bro. I mean, he was responsible for DeBrickashaw, Mangold, Revis. Like, he was responsible for a lot of really good Jets draft picks.
Just bring him back. Just bring back the glory day Jets.
I want old school Jets football. I want Breece Hall. Like the Breece Hall getting 25 touches a game went out the window. I don't know what happened to that. Like, it should be ground and pound, giving him 7 to 8 targets, and then just whenever you drop him back, look at Garrett Wilson and just force feed him the ball.
Or because Devontae Adams. Crazy thought.
Garrett Wilson is open all the time. Yeah. All the time. And they just, I don't know, just failing. But that's it. That's all I got.
Another episode in the books.